Welcome back to Lifeless TV. In today's episode, we're diving into a heartbreaking and mysterious case that's gripped the entire nation. It's the tragic story of Jacqueline Wangui, a young student whose life was cut short just days before she was to sit for her Kenya Certificate of Secondary Education exams. Let's break down the events and uncover the strange details surrounding her disappearance and death, as many unanswered questions remain. Imagine this, a young girl just 19 years old, a Form 4 student at Kamacharia Girls High School, full of hopes and dreams, ready to sit for one of the most defining exams of her life. November 4th, 2024, was supposed to be the start of a new chapter for Jacqueline Wangui, but tragically, that day would never come. Instead, her family is now planning her funeral, set for November 6th in her hometown of Cairo Village, Mathioya constituency. As of today, we're still left in the dark about how Jacqueline ended up dead in Mathioya River. Murang'a County's lead criminal investigations officer, Obed Isanda, has shared an investigative brief, but it reveals more questions than answers. Let's start with the postmortem details. On November 1st, 2024, a postmortem was performed at Kiria-ini Mission Hospital. However, even after this examination, the exact cause of death remains unknown. The postmortem findings were inconclusive, leading authorities to take Jacqueline's blood and tissue samples to a government laboratory for further analysis. Investigators noted an unusual amount of fluid in Jacqueline's head, lungs, and stomach, a detail that hints at something very unusual. But as of now, we're left waiting for more clarity. In an effort to get to the bottom of this tragedy, additional toxicology and histology tests have been ordered. Toxicology, which detects traces of any toxins or poisons, will be critical in this case, as will histology, the microscopic examination of tissue samples. These tests will hopefully shed light on what happened in Jacqueline's final hours. Now here's where things take an interesting turn. Jacqueline was not at school in her last days. According to reports, her grandmother, Mathioya Wangui, was asked by the school to take her home on October 25th, 2024, due to a health condition. This wasn't unusual, as Jacqueline had been under her grandmother's care, a woman who had been making sacrifices to ensure Jacqueline's education was uninterrupted. But could there be more to this situation than meets the eye? What exactly was Jacqueline's condition, and why was it severe enough to require her to leave school so close to her exams? This case raises so many questions. Was Jacqueline's health issue the reason for her untimely death? Or is there something else going on here? Was she a victim of foul play? And most importantly, will her family get the answers they so desperately need? Stay tuned as we explore every angle, unravel the clues, and try to bring clarity to Jacqueline Wangui's tragic and untimely death. Now let's delve a little deeper into Jacqueline's background. The more we learn, the more complex and heartbreaking her story becomes. Jacqueline's life wasn't easy. She was just one of 3 children, but unlike her siblings who were taken in by an aunt, Jacqueline was raised by her grandmother after her parents separated about a decade ago. When her parents parted ways, both moved on with other partners. Jacqueline's father remarried, and her mother did the same, leaving Jacqueline in the care of her grandmother, who did her best to provide for her and ensure she continued her education. We can only imagine the sacrifices this grandmother made, stretching every shilling, paying school fees, and giving Jacqueline a shot at a future. But here's where things start to get even more puzzling. When the school called Jacqueline's grandmother on October 25th to pick her up, they reportedly said she wasn't well. The natural assumption would be that Jacqueline's grandmother would rush her to a hospital, right? But strangely, that didn't happen. Instead, they went straight home, and there's no record of Jacqueline receiving any medical treatment or even a basic checkup. Why? Was Jacqueline's condition not as serious as reported? Or could there be more to this story that we're not seeing? As the days passed, it seems Jacqueline's health did not visibly improve. Then, on the morning of October 29th, a troubling detail emerges. Jacqueline didn't wake up at her usual time. Concerned, her grandmother went to check on her at around 10 a.m., only to find that Jacqueline wasn't there. And just like that, the mystery deepens. Later that same day, the unthinkable happened. Jacqueline's body was discovered floating in Mathioya River, some distance from her grandmother's house. How did she end up there? Could it have been a desperate act, or is there a darker, more sinister explanation? As investigators dig into this case, they're faced with two unsettling possibilities. Was Jacqueline's death a tragic suicide, or was she a victim of foul play? Her body discarded in the river as if to erase evidence. And here's a detail that raises even more questions. Jacqueline's family struggles and past were significant enough that investigators have started profiling her family background, hoping to find a clue to explain what might have driven her to this end, or tragically, what might have led someone to take her life. This isn't just a story about a young girl's death. It's about the challenges and circumstances that shaped her life and the unresolved mysteries surrounding her final days. As we continue, we'll look at the broader implications, seeking answers for Jacqueline's grieving family, friends, and community. Stay with us because this story is far from over. There are still pieces missing, and we'll continue to search for answers. Now let's talk about the final, most heart-wrenching part of this tragic story, the discovery of Jacqueline's body. By the time she was found, her body had already started decomposing. That discovery was a devastating blow to her family and sparked immediate speculation in the community. Was this a young girl who had simply lost her way, or was something far more disturbing at play? When Jacqueline's decomposing body was taken to the mortuary at Kiria-ini Mission Hospital, Mathioya Sub-County Police Commander Paul Karobia made a public statement. He assured the community that investigators would do everything in their power to find the truth, vowing that justice would be served if Jacqueline had indeed fallen victim to foul play. But as we enter the second week of the investigation, we're still left with more questions than answers. The initial postmortem couldn't reveal a clear cause of death, leaving the family and community in a painful limbo, wondering what really happened. For Jacqueline's family, this isn't just an investigation, it's deeply personal. Her mother shared her grief, expressing how painful it is to lose a child, especially under such mysterious circumstances. And then there's Jacqueline's grandmother, the one who raised her, paid her school fees, and nurtured her dreams of a better future. She remembers Jacqueline as obedient, soft-spoken, and ambitious, a young woman who had the potential to join university and change her life. For her, Jacqueline's death is an unimaginable loss. She's desperate for answers, saying, "If there is someone who urgently wants to know how she moved from my house alive to be found dead in a river, that person is me." This case speaks to the unimaginable pain of losing a child under mysterious circumstances and the relentless pursuit of justice by her family and community. Inshallah, may God guide these investigations and bring peace to Jacqueline's family. Alhamdulillah for the strength they have shown through this tragedy. My brothers and sisters, if you believe in seeking justice, remember to subscribe to Lifeless TV, like, and share this video. Together, let's bring light to Jacqueline's story, ensuring her memory lives on as we strive for the truth.